Well, it's not Sunday, but it's Monday, which can always be a fun day. And anytime I'm talking about Illini football of late, I seem to it's a pretty good time. What's happening? Another episode of Keep It Orange and Blue. Ryan Schroet, joined as always by the host with the most, Kevin Ducey. What's up?
Hey, not much, man. It's hard to believe, dude. It's less than 2 weeks away.
I'm excited for the episode, man. We've been talking about this season predictions, and it's just time because next week we're going to talk a little Western Illinois preview. We'll be in game week, man.
Yeah, and then the Wednesday before the game, we should have Fade the Deuce or sometime on that week. And it's kind of crazy. College football starts Saturday, just in 5 days.
Yes, I'm excited about that. So we'll work with Matt McCumber and I don't know if we'll do a week 0 this week, but that next Wednesday or so, we could probably get the first week for week 1. We could probably get something going with that with Matt.
So, yeah, I don't think we won't do a week 0-1. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, but hey, I'll be excited to watch some college football this week. I don't care if they're crappy matchups.
Oh, hey, wait a second. Iowa State, Kansas State playing in Dublin, Ireland. That's not a crappy match.
No, but okay, but there's always that one in Dublin. I get, It was Florida State and Georgia Tech last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you called that one right in the picking.
I did. Jason, howdy, fellers. How are you? We hope you guys have got out of the scorching heat and sun. It's been pretty rough here in Central Illinois. I don't know about you in Oklahoma, but yeah, it's been in 115 heat index some days. So
yeah, we couldn't go last night. I was coming back from Wisconsin, guys' golf trip with my brother and my brothers and some friends, and man, it was the humidity was a game changer. I was actually happy to get back to Oklahoma City where it's actually hotter, but it feels less hot. So
yeah, that humidity, man. It's not that humidity. So what we're going to talk a little before we get to the season prediction. We'll talk a little bit about things. Before they had a second scrimmage actually a night or two ago, and I know I heard some things, not bad things, but more of that cleaning up some stuff and still guys learning the system offensively and kind of hearing maybe what this offense could be turned into instead of like the dynamic it's going to have this year will be a little different than last year because as we've mentioned, no Zachary Franklin, no Pat Bryant, and then you got Hudson Clement's really going to probably have to be a deep threat and he's still learning the offense. And then can Malik Elzy take that next step? He seems to be very confident that he can, but if he does, that can open things up a lot. I think eventually Hudson Clement will do that, but can Malik Elzy do that from the get-go? I think he's got the talent to do that. But as we delve in here for a few minutes to talk about scrimmage number 2, your thoughts on what this offense can be and what you think it may look like, with a little bit different dynamic passing the ball.
Yeah, so I've heard some things. Obviously you return Luke Altmaier in his 3rd year as a starting quarterback. You've got some added depth in the tight end room. You've got tons of depth in the receiver room, but you don't have the receiver room as a whole is better this year than it was a year ago, in my opinion. But there's not the top dogs, right? We rattled off 8 names, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I mean, a guy who's now starting to get some mention is my guy Ashton Hollins, that he's popping. I think the time that he has played, he's looked really good. So it's just going to have to be, is there going to be a guy that Luke can find and become his go-to guy on a tough 3rd down situation? Maybe it develops into Tanner Arkin as a tight end. Maybe it's Cole Rusk, who seems to be one of Luke's best friends. Who knows? But what I think you're going to see with this team from an Illinois perspective is I think this team will be a little bit more like what you think of Brett Bielema football. And that is partially because of the tight ends. I think that Tanner Arkin is, if not one of the best blocking tight end in the conference and one of the best in the entire nation. I think when you add in Stoffel and Abney, those guys are both big guys who can block as well. Abney is showing the athleticism that looks like he's more of a Cole Rusk backup and replacement for him next year. And Stoffel's more of the Arkin replacement. But I think when you return all 5 offensive linemen, you've got 3 really talented backs. You've got a 4th and a 5th that you could run out there. I would not be surprised if Luke Altmaier throws for fewer yards this year. There was some talk going around, can he throw for 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns? I think 30 touchdowns is a bit much. I wouldn't be surprised if he threw for fewer yards but more touchdowns.
Yeah, especially in the red zone to the tight ends and stuff like that.
Exactly. So that's kind of where my prediction lies, is that Illinois will try to be a little bit closer to that 50-50 balance. And I think when you have an offensive line returning like we're doing, and an offensive line that ran the ball as effectively as they did against South Carolina, an offensive line that ran the ball as effectively as they against a really good Michigan front, that these are all things that happen toward the end of the season that give me hope that this team is going to be a more ball-dominant team on offense. And frankly, I think that the defense is not going to put us in situations where we have to throw much. There'll be a few occasions, a few games, but that's my thought.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, thanks for tuning in as well. And we'd love to hear your perspective on stuff. Obviously, you have good connects with players and, people around the program. So you can correct anything you may hear or see that you've heard differently. And we love to go debate about that and talk about it. But so what you said, I think ball control is going to be more closer to what this year's offense than what we saw last year. You got to think too, Illinois is going to have a more, I would almost say, near dominant offensive line, especially running the ball. Yes. I think Illinois is going to be able to do that against majority of the opponents they play this year. There's going to be 2 or 3 probably where it'll be tougher. Obviously, Ohio State. I think Indiana's is going to be close up there where they have a tough D-line, but Washington's D-line, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think USC's is. They have talent, but they give up a lot of yards. Unless things have changed there this year defensively drastically on the D-line. But for the most part, I would say 8 or 9 of the 12 games, Illinois' offensive line, I think, should be the better unit. And we'll be able to run the ball like they want and control the clock. Also, with the 4 to 5 tight end, hybrid type people they've got, as you mentioned, Jordan Anderson's a guy who's going to be in the H-back role quite a bit, who can run the ball, which they're going to try to give him the ball at times and then hit him with passes in the flat. And be a decoy many times, especially in the red zone. And you got to think about having a Cole Rusk, right? Tanner Arkin, Jordan Anderson, Abney, Stoffel. You could have 4 of those guys or in the back, 2 in the backfield, 2 on the line of scrimmage, and you're thinking, okay, they're going to hand it to Anderson here. That's this, or they're going to give it to Fagan here or Lawfrey, and you're like, oh no, they're going to actually hand it to Anderson or hit Arkin in the flat or in the back of the end zone. There's just so many dynamics because Arkin has shown he's very, very capable in the red zone. And
he had 3 touchdown catches last year on 16 grabs.
The boot action is just vicious with him. It's like teams for some reason just leave him open, and so I could just see so many formations inside that red zone with all those guys where you don't really have to be super explosive. Very effective, though. Very effective at picking up 10, 15 yards here or there. And then you're inside the 5, right, with 4 opportunities to pound the ball in or do some play action. And I think that's the kind of offense you're going to see with Illinois. Yeah, and then Hudson Clement can be a guy, I think, as the Big Ten play approaches, where once he's got really more comfortable with the offense, that you can open some things up some. But I think we're going to have a bunch of guys like Hank Beatty, who has had good scrimmages, Ashton Hollins, as you mentioned, and then guys like Bowick, who I think has an opportunity to be a Keyshawn Johnson type, I think, across the middle with his frame. And his size, his length, I think he could be a real safety type of a guy for Altmaier. I can see that.
It's going to have to be, hey, listen, I've got some predictions on who I think will be the starters on the wide receiver position that I don't think that everybody agrees with. I've seen Robert Rosenthal's in the line eyes. I've seen, Werner and Wagner's reports. Mine are different. And one of the reasons why I frankly, I think it's going to be Elzy, Beatty. I think it's going to be Elzy, Clement, and Colin Dixon are my three guys there. And one of the main reasons why is the ability to block. Clement is not a great blocker, but at 200 pounds is better than Beatty. And it's a Justin Step thing, no block, no rock. So I think this team gets back to more of that power running game that we're really looking forward to. Hey, listen, the guys ran the ball pretty effectively last year. Aiden Lawfrey, if I recall correctly, 6 yards a carry. Now, some of that's probably skewed a little bit by the Northwestern game where he kind of was 10 yards a carry average. But we know that in his time, Caden Fagan's played in 14 total football games at the University of Illinois. He's rushed for almost 800 yards. So, and in the times when he started, he's had quite a few 100-yard games. When he's playing and getting the ball, he is a highly effective runner. I remember he had that stat for a little while where he never had a negative run. And that's the kind of production that you're adding into the fold with a lightning guy like Lawfrey. Now, I know that we're worried about Fagan's health, but if he's healthy, this is going to be a guy who can pound the rock. In games where he started and he's got over 10 carries, he has 85 yards, 97 yards, 89 yards, 108 yards, 40 against Kansas, that was the last year, and 25 against Central Michigan, those outliers, which didn't make much sense, 69 against Nebraska, 64 against a really, really good Penn State team. So that's where I think that this team can come from. So we'll see. And I agree with you. Jason Ron commented biggest concerns health, a lot of offensive line, lower limb injuries. My understanding is being super precautionary. A lot of those guys could probably play if it was going on soon. Elzy is back from his hamstring, from what I understand, and Valentine is in concussion protocol. But my guess is those guys are all ready to go by the time it's going. So,
yeah, what's up, Sleeve? Definitely slow off season, but we love talking football, and it's perfect time to discuss it.
I think Sleeve has some itches he wants to talk about, not necessarily running back for battle.
Yeah, I've been off the Discord for most of the summer, man. I just needed a
he said one time on the show that we make him more of a football fan, that he's a much bigger.
We can dig it, man. But basically, some of the things I got from the scrimmage, was not as I was told by a couple people involved with the program that wasn't as clean as they would have liked from the first one, which is interesting.
Sure.
And that, but you can still see the depth and talent defensively, especially on the D line. But they're going to need some guys to step up, like I said, a Clement and LZ to be deep threats. And this team just may be a more, as you said, it's looking like it's going to be a Wisconsin-like offense that he had at, Brett Bielema. And I'm super, super proud and excited of pretty much, season tickets selling out, student tickets selling out. It's going to be rocking.
Yeah, dude, I wore this shirt today. Obviously, this was the Mike Latula, what they call that, the basketball tournament, or was it TBT, right?
Yeah, Bring the Pain, right?
Yeah, well, during COVID, Mike Dom, it was
yes.
It was during COVID, man. It was actually one of the things that I looked forward to a ton. So I bought the shirt, but I wore the shirt tonight because I think Memorial Stadium, when we're doing our preseason predictions of what this team's going to do, is going to be a different animal this year. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. I'm gonna respond to what. Here we go. So yeah, let's jump into it. I think it's time. I think everybody's been setting their clocks and their schedules to wait for our season predictions. So let's get to it.
Let's start with this, Ryan. How about this? When you look at our schedule, what are the games that you see like that? There's no chance you are going to pick anything different, but a for sure win. I mean,
okay. So if we think about it, the games that we can discuss that won't be for sure wins, right?
Yeah. So let's just put the ones out there that we know that you and I are 100% in congruence that we think Illinois is going to win that game.
I said I don't know. I think Indiana will be the first one.
I think Duke will be the first one we need to discuss.
Well, I don't think Illinois is going to have any problems with Duke.
Well, I think when you're talking about a Power 4 team that is receiving votes in the AP poll that won 9 games a year ago, and we're playing at their place, and they've been really good at home. I think it's.
I do know all that. I do know all that, but why I don't though, and maybe I guess since we're going to disagree, then that's something right there. You can say that because I didn't think you would say Duke, but is that they're going to have basically no fan. The fan support for Duke football not good. I think Illinois is going to have a bunch of fans there. It's not going to be a nighttime raucous environment. It's 11 a.m. kick. I think Illinois is supremely motivated this year. I think this isn't like they're not going to go into that game like, man, we're ranked number 12, man. We may even be in top 10 by that if a couple of teams lose, We're going to blow your doors off, I don't think they're going to go in there cocky. I think they're going to be in there motivated, and I think it's a new system for just a new quarterback in that system for Duke. And I think the best part of their team is their defense. But offensively, I don't think they're going to be able to do much against Illinois' defense. I just don't. And that's just knowing, just things I'm hearing from how well things are going. We talked about Daniel Brown, right? James Thompson, Gabe Akis, Alec Bryan. I'm just telling you our guy, Kenina Odeluga. I just think it's going to be rough, man. I think they're really going to put the hammer on them defensively. So that's why I'm really not worried about it. I think the line will be between 7 and 10 for that game.
That'll be a single-digit points. That'll be 3.5 at most.
Oh man, I don't know. I think it might be about closer to 7. We'll see.
I bet you I can get a Duke Illinois spread right now.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It's a road game. It's the first of the year. Malik Murphy is good. They won 9 games. I think that Illinois is not going to be able to do it enough. Right now, it's Illinois minus 3.5. Illinois is not going to be able to do enough against a Western Illinois football team to move that spread at all. Now, what could move that?
I just want you to know this: Malik Murphy isn't even their quarterback.
He was just named the starter.
Malik Murphy he transferred to Oregon.
He transferred out. My bad. It's the kid from Tulane.
It's the kid from Tulane. I'm just telling you, that dude is not Malik Murphy.
Where did Murphy end up going?
Oregon State.
Okay, that's right.
I told you they have a new quarterback with this system. He left Tulane. He came to Duke.
Darian Mensah from Tulane. That's right. Yes, you're right. I knew I messed that up.
He's solid, but he's more of a running type of guy who's got a good arm, but he's not Malik Murphy. And it's his first year in the system. That stuff matters to people. I mean, people can say whatever they want.
Right,
and that stuff matters.
I agree with you, Ryan. I think Illinois is going to win the game. I do think it's going to be a challenge for Illinois playing on the road. Like I said, they've been good at home, even without fan support. I do like the fact that it's a noon Eastern kick. And I'm with you. One of the things that I think that's going to dictate a lot about what this Illinois football season is going to do is Illinois will, with the ability of James Thompson, who I believe is better than Dennis Briggs, and Alec Bryant, who I think that Seth Coleman was probably playing banged up all year last year. Alec Bryant, Daniel Brown, and Joe Barna and Gabe Akis are all better versions of themselves coming into this season. That it's going to be really hard to figure out where. And Kenina Odeluga, who has a pass rush win rate that is insane. If Illinois can hold the line and keep Duke force Duke into passing downs and unleash some of these packages with JoJo Hayden, Malachi Hood, and all the speed that they do have on this defense, Illinois is going to rattle that quarterback playing in a Power 4 environment. And I think Illinois will win. I just think that game needed some discussion. So that's that.
Yeah, well, I will say this. I'm not saying Illinois is going to go in there and win by 3 touchdowns, but I think it's going to be a sound game where people are impressed with Illinois when they leave there. And they're going to go, wow. I mean, even if Illinois wins 31-17 or something, people are going to go, this is a good Illinois team, or 28-10, something like that. 28-13, whatever. I think it's going to be something like that.
I'd hold them to 13 points. That'd be awesome.
So, yes, worth a little bit discussion, but I think the IU game, to me, what I do like about the schedule, personally, it literally tees up Illinois for like each week they take a bump besides week 3. But week 3 is okay because it's the second home game of the year. Western Michigan's going to be better than Western Illinois. But you've already got yourself your Duke, your Power 5, your whatever it is, group. What is it, Power 4, Power 4, Power 5 in football?
Yeah, Power 4, that's right.
Power 4 in football. So you got that road test against a good team. That primes them for the Indiana matchup in Bloomington.
I agree.
Indiana doesn't have that this year. They have 3 cupcakes at home.
And one of the things that I did before this is Duke, surprisingly, they returned 11 starters, which is a good number. Obviously, as Illinois fans, we're like, we returned 16, 18 if you look at the bowl game starters, which 18 would be the most in college football. 16 is tied for second with Clemson, one behind Arizona State. Duke's at 11, which is a good number. Penn State's at 14. That's why they're getting the hype. Duke's at 11. I mean, they're returning, a couple offensive linemen, a few defensive linemen. They've got they just have some holes out there. The offensive backfield is all new. One wide receiver, a couple DNs, no interior linemen there, and most of the secondary they're having to replace. I think that's that cohesion and continuity for Illinois playing a team in game 2 of the season leads me to believe that should be a good win. Now, when you look at Indiana, their number is shockingly low with the number of returning starters that they bring back from that really wonderful season that they had, best season in school history. They bring back 8 total starters, 3 offensive linemen and 1 wide receiver on offense. Kamara, who's amazing, Fisher, who's amazing, Pons, who's amazing on defense, and then Amari Farrell at the safety position. So they bring back their really good players in Surratt, Kamara, Fisher, and Pons.
By the way, Daniel Brown, if you're watching and listening, I know I'm trying to get you on the show. He's a fan of the show. He messaged me because he saw the episode where we were talking about him being a difference maker. He told me he wants to come on the show. So Daniel Brown, shout out. We appreciate you. I know you're going to have a big year. I'm excited, man. I bet you can't. As much as we can't wait, dude. How do you think they're feeling right now, Kevin?
Oh, dude, it's all right. So I can't speak to it at a college level, but I remember being at this point in high school where you are so freaking amped to go hit somebody that doesn't wear the same jersey as you, but you are so ready to get into week prep for the game because what the stuff they're doing right now is still really hard. Right, when they transform over into Western Illinois prep, the practice is kind of it's just a little bit less physically intense for the full duration of practice. So I know that those guys are really, really ready to get into game prep starting next week. So,
yeah. I know we're talking about Indiana, and they're not returning as many starters. They've still got quality. They've got really good pieces in different spots, but not necessarily a really good group as a whole. Defensively, I would say they've got one really, really good cornerback. They've got one really, really good edge rusher, and they've got one really, really good offensive lineman. They've got 2 good wideouts. To me, it's
and they brought in the kid from Notre Dame, right? The transfer on the offensive line.
Yep, was it Coogan? Yep. So yeah,
that one's a toss-up for me, Ryan, and I'm still sitting in my 50-50 on this one. That's a game I could expect Illinois to lose. And so I not expect, but I wouldn't be shocked if Illinois lost that game. I think that Indiana will be riding high, 3-0. The place is going to be loud. It's going to be vibrant. It might get some it will get some national attention. If Illinois is 3-0 at that, by the way, if Illinois goes 1-0, they're going to be in the top 10. So once Illinois beats Western Illinois, they're going to be a top 10 football team. There are 4 ranked matchups during the week coming up. So there are going to be 4 top 10 ranked to start the week. I believe, no, it's 3. 3 of those teams are going to lose. My guess is Notre Dame is probably going to lose to Miami. With a little preview of Fade the Deuce. I think LSU is going to lose to Clemson, I believe. Somebody else is in there. So it's Illinois will be top 10. So Illinois handles stuff at Duke. They could be, who knows how high they could get. It is going to gain a lot of national attention. And by me saying that, they're going to get a huge, loud, vibrant crowd, and we might be in a little bit of trouble. We could lose that game. I am not saying I'm predicting that as a loss. Actually, I am. I'm going to take that as one of Illinois' losses on the season will be at Indiana.
Okay, so I've picked one. If I've got, I don't want to say that in my total now, but there's 3 games that I think Illinois could lose. A couple of them, but will they lose all 3 of them? No, I don't think so. But sure, if they end up 9-3, that would be the ones, and we'll talk about them as they go. But Indiana is definitely one of them. I don't have them sitting here saying that they will lose the game. It's going to be that. I'm sure that line's got what is it? Indiana like plus 1.5 or something like that.
Yeah, Indiana minus a couple is what last I saw. So we'll be a couple point dog in that game.
Yeah, as you know, David, as Kevin was saying, not every team that loses in that first week is going to drop some, but I'm sure 2 of them probably will.
No, the Texas OSU loser, depending on how the game goes. I mean, if it's an absolute obliteration of one of the 2 and they look terrible, Arch Manning gets hurt, or God forbid, I don't wish that on anybody. That won't happen. But you got LSU and Clemson. I think Clemson's going to beat the brakes off LSU.
Yeah, if someone gets dominated and beat up, they're dropping.
And Notre Dame goes to number 10 Miami. Notre Dame wins that game. Miami's falling back. So there's.
And Sleeve, for this one, we're not talking about basketball summer workouts. We're doing our football season predictions. We will definitely have time to talk some about those as the next few weeks in September goes along, hits nearing October. We'll talk about all that stuff just because if this episode's focused on our predictions. So, yeah, and then, of course.
So, Ryan, I'll have us 2-1 through 3 games. You have us 3-0.
Well, so no, you would have us 3-1 through 4 games unless you have us.
I follow. Western Michigan and I got as a win for sure.
So 3-1 through 4 games, Kevin.
For me, you have us
4-0. I'll say 4-0.
All right.
Okay, but I will say this: USC is that 4th game for me that I think could be tricky too. I'm not just going to sit here and say that USC matchup in Champagne's going to be just we're going to beat them by 2 touchdowns. I think there's a lot of talent on USC. They lose a lot of really close games. They have not been very good at closing games out. Like last year, how they didn't close out Penn State at home, I don't know.
Maryland.
But, yeah, they blew that game. They blew
the Michigan game.
Yeah, just really dumb end-of-game stuff. The Minnesota game, over and at Washington, I think. They lost it in Seattle really close at the end. Just a lot of those games where, hey, they're 7-5, 8-4, where they could have easily been 9-3 last year, I think.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people have that. Here's my thing is USC has been very mediocre on the road under Lincoln Riley. They returned very little on the offensive line. They returned 2 starters on the offensive line, 5 total, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a left tackle and a right guard.
They'll be 4-0 coming to Champaign and probably top 25. Yeah. I'm just saying that's not a game that Illinois can take lightly.
But here's the other thing. This is where that game's being played, in the House of Pain. And that's my differentiator where I have way more concerns about at Indiana than I do USC coming to town. Now, granted, we will be coming off a loss. And this is to all of you who listen and who don't go to games, which is probably nobody, or else you wouldn't be listening. Our fan base is some fickle assholes, and they won't show up. I worry about them not showing up for USC after a loss. If we lose to Indiana, I really worry about that.
I still think they'll have 50,000 plus if they lose to Indiana. It may not be 60, but I think
regardless.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Trust me.
Western Illinois and Western Michigan should be 60,000.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is as of now. We'll see, though, with Friday Night Lights, But yeah, so I wanted everybody to know the ranking of games. I've got so the fourth toughest game I have on Illinois' schedule is USC at home right now.
Uh-huh.
That's where I'm just keeping it real with you guys. I have Indiana as the third toughest game on their schedule. Duke is the fifth. Duke is fifth. So out of the top five, Duke is number 5 on the toughest games. We got USC, Indiana, and then Illinois gets a. Well, while Barry Odom is a great coach, there's just not much there. I think they'll go into Purdue and they'll be at least 2 touchdown favorites in that game. And
one returning starter off one of the worst teams in college football last year.
Yeah, so I got Illinois. I've got Illinois is either going to be 5-1 or 6-0 heading into Ohio State. That's my prediction.
I have us at 5-1 there. I rank Ohio State the toughest game. IU the second toughest game. Duke 4th. USC 5th.
Well, and so then that leaves. I have Washington as the second toughest game this year.
I have it as the third.
Okay, at Washington. I was watching. If you guys do yourself a favor, if you guys haven't, take yourself once, a couple times a week, take an hour and watch a couple of those Big Ten episodes where they do the camp series of every team, and they do a great job covering the bases. You get to know their offensive playmakers, defensive playmakers. They talk to the coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. Ryan Walters is the defensive coordinator there at Washington. He has a lot more talent defensively than he did at Purdue. He's got some really good, long, athletic defensive backs that Jed Fish had recruited to Arizona, and they are back there. They followed him this year to Seattle, in Washington, and they've got some returning players who were injured a good chunk of last year. So while I think Ryan Walters' defense won't be what it was in Champaign with, Sidney Brown and Devin Witherspoon and all those guys, it's going to be way better than it was last year. And I think he's got athletes. And I like I like the offensive system they run. They run kind of like a Illinois, going to be no huddle, really pretty quick. And they've got a dynamic quarterback. And Seattle, maybe keep it real, Seattle's one of the toughest places to play in the world, in the country.
It's the second longest home winning streak in the nation right now.
Just ask Bo Nix and those guys how easy it is to win there.
They have the second longest home winning streak in the nation at 20 or 21 games behind Georgia.
Yep, and Jason made a good point. The only reason I think that I would pick Illinois in that game, it's all coming off a bye week, and they're going to be ready to go. And that could either be after a close win against Ohio State or a tough loss. And I think either way, they're going to be motivated and amped and ready to roll. So we've mentioned all Illinois' toughest games. So the last 5 games of a 12-game season, the first 7 games, 5 of those are Illinois' toughest games.
Yeah, and that's the challenge with the schedule. And
if you get through there 5-2, Kevin, I feel pretty good that they can finish up 5-0. I really do. So
all right, yeah. So let's. So I have us at 5-1 playing Ohio State. You have us at 5-1 playing Ohio State.
So go. Okay, you have us beating Ohio State?
No, I don't.
Okay.
All right. So would you have us beating USC?
Yeah, I do have Illinois beating. I do have Illinois beating USC.
You have a 6-0 playing Ohio State.
So
here's the thing. All of this changes. So if Illinois can find a way to beat Indiana, which you're in agreement that I'm in agreement they can. I think the Illinois playing USC after that, Memorial Stadium jam-packed to the gills, super loud, top 10. Illinois might be like top 6 at that point in time. Like that place is going to be rocking. I think Illinois handles USC. If that's the case, if Illinois can find a way to get to 6-0 and play, and then they go handle Purdue, then that's where Purdue becomes a little bit of a trap game, where Illinois might stub their toe for a little bit and still find a way to win just because of talent, but it might not look that great. But at that point in time, if you got Illinois 6-0 playing against Ohio State, in Memorial Stadium on game day, which I would think would be at night, I do like our chances much better there. There is a momentum that will happen if this team can find a way to get past Duke and Indiana. It's so critical. That Duke game is huge. And I know you're more confident in that Duke game than I am. And that's fine. That Duke game is going to be huge.
Oh, yeah. Yep, it is. And it's not like they don't play the season to focus on, can we get college game day? But what happens when you win those games is you're presenting yourself with amazing opportunities for national spotlights and to bring your university chances to do things that they haven't done in a while. So we can talk about the rest of the games, and we will. I picked Illinois to finish 10-2 this year, and as we go through the games to finish the year, which the 5 to end the year are going to be a lot easier. I don't think you can take Rutgers at home super lightly. I think
nope.
They always Illinois and Rutgers always just kind of have dog fights. You know what I mean? Because that's just Greg Schiano, how he is. He's a coach. And him and Brett Bielema are very similar, I think, about how they think and see the game. And then at Wisconsin, while I do think –
Hold on. I don't want to – are we going to go back to Washington?
We are going to go back to Washington because I'm trying to get back to why I'm saying of the 3 games I think Illinois could really has a chance to lose. I have 10-2, and I think Washington could be 1. So we could say Illinois is 6-0 going into that game. I think they could lose to Ohio State and Washington.
Yes.
So and then just finish up, 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, you got the. Here's why I'm with you. I got Wisconsin rated pretty low on the games I'm worried about. I think I have them 6.
Well, sorry, 5-0. Yeah, 5-0.
I have Illinois at the Wisconsin game is the 6th toughest on the schedule. The reason why I have it that low, most of the time you think you're playing in Madison. It takes some time and go look at Wisconsin's schedule. I think there's a very real possibility that Illinois is playing a 3-7 Wisconsin team.
And Luke Fickell's fired, and they don't give a crap anymore.
Coming off of 6 or 7 straight losses. I mean, their schedule is so hard. And I agree with Nathan Durst. Illinois is a very old, very experienced team with lots of continuity, and it matters. That's why I keep looking at some of these returning starter levels of production. So I'm with you, Ryan. I think after Washington, the schedule, like the easiest games on the schedule are Northwestern at home, Maryland at home, at Purdue, Rutgers at home, outside of Western Michigan and Western Illinois. So I think that Illinois probably will finish the season should finish the season on a 4-game winning streak. And Jason Ron had a good point too. Mike Loxley's on the hot seat as well. Their schedule's not setting up so well. They don't have much returning production. They have 4 returning starters. They have 1 returning starters off of a not very good defense. They return 2 offensive linemen and a wide receiver on offense.
And a good chance David Braun's not the coach of Northwestern after.
I actually think they're going to be sneakily better than most people think. And I hate to say
I have them being as the 2nd or 3rd worst team in the Big Ten this year. So
I have Maryland as the 2nd worst team in the Big Ten.
So even Northwestern's the 3rd then. I don't know, man. I don't know who else you would put in. Who else would you put there? USC and UCLA are not going to be 5-win teams. So maybe I don't think Northwestern's going to win more than UCLA. Northwestern's not winning more than 4 games this year. Let's see. Wisconsin. Okay, Wisconsin. I guess in Northwestern can fight for that 3rd, 4th place.
Ooh.
Yeah, just because of schedules, man. But yeah, I think Illinois has a chance to play 2 or 3 teams towards the last 4 or 5 games where their coach isn't there. But I think the Duke game and Indiana game are so huge, man, because you can sneak through there. All you got to do is squeak one out. If you can beat up Duke, squeak out the North Carolina, the Indiana game, you're giving yourself, man, a chance. We know Indiana's going to be a big time matchup. It's going to be top 15 teams. We know this. If Illinois takes care of Duke.
Yep.
Illinois is in the top 10. Indiana will probably be in the top 15 at that point. Then you got Illinois, USC, both if Illinois takes care of business, even if they lose Indiana, they'll be a top 15-ish team.
Yep.
USC is going to be a top 25 team by that time. Then you got Purdue, which is fine, a breather. Then Ohio State, probably the game of the week that week. Okay. Then at Washington is worthy of a lot because Washington has. I looked at their schedule; they could be 5-2, 6-1 at that point.
I actually like getting them at this point in the season better than when Ohio State goes there.
Yeah,
Ohio State goes to play them the same week we play Indiana, if I'm not.
Yeah, they play them earlier in the year. Yeah.
So here's the thing about Washington that gives me the reason why I have IU as a tougher game. First of all, Illinois is coming off a bye before they play them. Now, granted, Illinois does have to play Western Michigan before Indiana, which is not a bye, but Western Michigan's picked to the bottom of the map. Washington last year was 119th in the nation in sacks allowed. 119th in sacks allowed. That they were tied with Michigan State. If we can remember what Illinois was able to really get to the quarterback, Gabe Akis, I think, had 3 sacks against Michigan State, or 2.5 or something like that, of his 8 on the season. Kanina Odeluga, I think, had 2 sacks in that game. We got to Michigan State's quarterback a lot, and that helped differentiate that game. Washington's quarterback is probably a little bit more elusive than Aiden Childs, probably not as straight line, long speed, fast. But Damon Williams is a heck of a dual threat quarterback. He is tiny. He is tiny. They replaced 3 offensive linemen off a terrible offensive line. I don't know where they went for a transfer portal situation to address that. I'm sure they did. But that's still, like, you can't, like, continuity on the offensive line means a lot. Now, that's where Ohio State could get them. They haven't had a chance to build continuity. I have questions about whether Damon Williams will play against Illinois. I mean, I'm not predicting an injury, but I'm just having questions about, he's a 5'11", 187 pounds. That's smaller than Isaiah Williams. That's tiny. That is, and if they don't have their quarterback against us, that's where I have a little bit more confidence in that game than I do playing at it.
Jason says, now preface all this with team health, 20-plus off-season surgeries within the 2 deep, mostly shoulders, fingers crossed, and heavy prayers.
Well, that's why we did the show a couple weeks ago. We named off 34 guys on defense we were comfortable with playing. Right? Where Illinois, like, there's guys, like the most important guys on the Illinois defense that you really can't lose. I think it starts with Gabe Akis. It might even be James Thompson first, and then it's probably Xavier Scott and Matt Bailey. But Matt Bailey's got really, really competent backups. And we got a lot of depth in the defensive backfield. So it's Akis and James Thompson. Those are the biggest worries there. Offense, it's Luke Altmaier, and then probably Jason David. So I have more confidence in the Washington game than probably most. And it's also coming off a bye week. Brett Bielema has been pretty solid off a bye week in his entire career, not just at Illinois. So that's where that one wraps up. For me, Ryan, I got us 10-2 losses at IU, at Ohio, and to Ohio State.
Okay. I think we're
10-2 because I did it 2 years ago, guys. I was wrong. I look at this all. Well, it's a lot of the reasons why I'm changing my predictions this year is because the things I neglected to look at that year. Changeover in quarterback, changeover in secondary, changeover in defensive coordinator. None of these things that Illinois has to deal with this year.
Yep.
None of these things. Illinois has the most continuity in college football right now.
They do.
Right.
And it doesn't hurt to basically return your entire offensive line. That's just huge. That's some unsung stuff. But also, I think this defense is going to take a big step up too. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, and they're asking, is Matt Bailey going to leave early? I hope so.
We hope so. If Illinois makes the college football playoff.
What I worry about Matt is I don't know how he'll test from a 40 standpoint. I don't know what kind of straight line speed he has. He's a hell of an instinctual player.
I think his skill. But when they see his size and weight and length, I think it's going to be really impressive.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And his vertical jump too. It's going to be very impressive. Now, Jason, the reason why I don't think 8-4 I said 8-4 is the floor for Illinois, and to me, that means that Illinois is going to lose 4 of the 5 toughest games that they have, and I just don't see that, Kevin.
No, one of the things, like Ryan, I've been listening to a lot of the national prognosticators. I listen to Cover 3. I love Cover 3. It's Danny Cannell, Tom Fornelli, and those guys. It's great because Fornelli's an Illinois guy, and so they're always going to talk a little bit of Illinois. He had Illinois 7-5, and I think he's just being that typical.
So basically, they're going to lose every tough game they're going to have. They're going to lose. So
right, and his big thing is they're talking about the receivers, man. And I don't know what Illinois is going to do with the receiver position, guys. I said it before. Hudson Clement has more college receiving yards coming into this year than Pat Bryant did coming into last year, right? There's not a Zachary Franklin, no, but Zachary Franklin is not the athlete that Malik Elzy is, right? There is just so much talent at that wide receiver position if you can keep Luke Altmaier up. Right now, hey, listen, I bagged on Washington on their sacks giving up stats last year about being 119th. Illinois wasn't a whole lot better. Illinois was 93rd. So something Illinois has really got to clean up is keeping Luke upright. But that was a half a sack of a game difference between Illinois and Washington. And we returned the continuity of all 5 offensive linemen, which some people could argue one way or the other. So I think that the concerns around this team from an outsider's perspective are much better than people think. And those 2 concerns are wide receiver and defensive line. I think that the defensive line, from everything that I'm hearing, Pat Farrell's emergence, Kurt Neal, Angelo McCollum, James Thompson is wowing people. Ryan, you talked about it. If you're not going to watch the other folks, the Washingtons or the Northwesterns or the Purdue's or Ohio State's training camp, watch Illinois. Watch the way that people talk about James Thompson. Watch the way they talk about him. And then
100%.
And here's the other thing, dude. If we start the 3 wide receivers that I think we're going to start, Malik Elzy, Colin Dixon, and Hudson Clement, you are going to see 3 guys that have the ability to run after the catch and run through tackles. Like Isaiah was phenomenal running after the catch, just being quick and elusive. Really has been elusive and be able to run through people. These guys are going to be close to that. Pat Bryant was pretty solid at it. So these guys are going to go on Illinois football on Instagram, and go watch for 17 on offense. Colin Dixon has the biggest damn quads this size of Barry Sanders. He's got Barry Sanders thighs. It made me think about that old song, like Betty Davis thighs. He's got Barry Sanders thighs. Like he is massive. His lower half is massive. That guy is going to break so many tackles for 3, 4, 5, 10 extra yards, spring one for a touchdown. What very long-winded way of saying Kevin is not worried about the wide receiver room at all. Now, granted, he's showing out. That's my dog. Appreciate him. All the stuff he's doing in Denver. Had 4 catches for 70 yards in the first half the other night. It's amazing. He's going to play. He's going to play a lot. He's going to do well there. But I think this Illinois wide receiver room is going to be just fine.
And Hank Beatty, I think, is going to be a real steadying presence too.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a nice safety blanket.
Ryan, you remember the catch you made against South Carolina, right? Not the long one, but that tough one in traffic.
Yes.
I went back and watched the Michigan game. He made a catch on the sideline early in that game that was very similar. It got called back for a holding, so nobody really remembers it. Like
his game against Rutgers, he had a big touchdown catch in the end zone. The touchdown catch in the end zone, clearly. He had a touchdown where he ran a great route, and Luke scrambled and hit him right there on the. Yep. He's the very dependable guy, and his return game skills is something we're not talking about either. I think Malik is legitimately Emmett Bebe size now without the hops. He just has to.
But I bet you he beat him in a 40-yard dash, because if Josh could run a really good 40-yard dash, he'd have got drafted pretty high.
Yeah. So Yeah, just so much excitement. I think the D line is legit. We didn't even Kurt Neal is a guy who at times can be dominant, and we didn't talk about Leon Lowry, who's going to be added to the pass rush package. The Wisconsin guys, there's a bunch of guys who have a lot of snaps.
You literally have a guy in his 5th year of college who's like 6 foot tall, 300 pounds as a nose tackle, who's 3rd on the depth chart in General Hunt.
Yeah, and trust me, if you have to play General Hunt, Illinois has played him in big games, and he didn't hurt the team.
Yeah, and the reason why he's 3rd is because Angelo McCollum is blowing up, right? And Jeremiah Warren is blowing up. Demetrius John is blowing up. Like this team just has enough depth and talent around it to be able to stay. That's why what I think has happened a lot of times in Illinois' past is those last 4 games become dicey because we don't have the depth, and that's where injuries start to pile up on you. I don't worry about that as much this year. I'm with you, Ryan. I think 8-4 is the absolute floor. I think 12-0 is the ceiling. And I know it sounds freaking crazy. Like you're going to beat Ohio State. Yeah, if we get game day at our house, we're still going to be an underdog at our house, home dogs, prime time. Like that place will be that will be the most electric Illinois atmosphere in Memorial Stadium since we played Michigan in 1983, and probably even more so.
What about the Michigan 2000 game at night with Anthony Thomas?
Louisiana at the Joint Readiness Training Center, so I don't know what that was like, but I just know I wanted to break something after the game.
Yeah, yes, and it was interesting. What was interesting was John Malkovich was calling the game for ESPN too.
I couldn't even hear it. I actually got to watch it because we were just getting ready to ship out. So
yeah, I bet you left like so mad.
Oh, everybody was giving me such crap, and I'm like, you guys don't even like Michigan. What are you doing? So
yeah, so OSU is going to be beatable this year too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to make of saying their quarterback, but we're going to find out in week 1. Now, me and Kev both have 10-2. The route to get there might be a little different. I don't know. I think OSU and Washington could be it. Yes, that's what we're doing, Kev. We're going to final thoughts. And today's final thoughts, Kevin and I are each going to give maybe our leading rusher, leading receiver, and our sacks and interception leaders, which probably could be surprising, but maybe not. Kev, I'll start with you for the rushing and receiving, and then I'll go with sacks, interceptions, and then however you want to do it. We could do all 4. We could just do 2 and 2, whatever you want to do.
No, it's fine. Actually, my leading rusher on the team this year, I think is going to be Aiden Lawfrey. I just have a little bit more confidence in his long-term physical health. I also think that he has a little bit more of the really big play ability. I do think that Caden is – I could be wrong on this because if we're beating teams and we're ahead late, Caden is going to be the battering ram and just wear the crap out of teams. But I think it's going to be close. I think what I'm really hoping for is an 8-8-4 season from these guys, 800 from Lawfrey and Fagan, 400 from Valentine. That gives us 2,000 yards on the ground just from 3 backs. That would be pretty impressive. My leading receiver, Hudson Clement. The guy has proven it at this level better than anybody else on that field. And this is yards. I think there could be a very real situation where Colin Dixon leads the team in receptions, just like Zachary Franklin did a year ago, but Pat led in yards. So I'm going to take Clement for yards and Lawfrey for yards. So,
and for sacks, I'm going to go Daniel Brown.
Oh, okay. I love it, dude. I think people are sleeping on him so much because of the focus Akis is going to get.
Yes.
I don't know if Daniel Brown will play enough snaps for that. That's my only concern.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say, there's going to be double teams on Akis all day.
All right.
I think James Thompson here's the thing, you guys. Hello. James Thompson, I think, is James Thompson, Gabe Akis. Those are the names everybody's talking about. That means some double teams are coming. Daniel Brown is not going to get double teamed.
It could be Alec Bryant too, right?
Yeah, it could be Alec Bryant. And what's your season prediction? Okay.
Right.
So and then for interceptions, right? You're thinking, he's going to say Xavier Scott, right? Oh, he's going to say Matt Bailey. Oh, he's going to say, I'm going to go Miles Scott.
You took mine.
Da, da, da. The captain, my captain, he's your captain. He's Miles Scott.
Ryan, I obviously am in complete agreement with you, and here's the reason why. What were the interception totals for Kirby Joseph and Kendall Smith as seniors in this defense, which is what this team's going to be like? Those guys, that's where they get it. It's former wide receiver. I'm with you 100%. I'm going to take Akis as the sack leader. I can't go away from him. I think he gets into double digits. Nobody else is going to beat that.
Hey, I just want to show Daniel Brown some more love, man.
Some love, dude. I'm with you 100%, dude. Like, hey, listen, everybody knows I've told him 100 times on the show. I don't ask Aaron for information, but he and I did talk about it. He said the boy's a freak. He's a freak. He's 6'1", 250 pounds, and he can move.
And sometimes, like, the most obvious one doesn't necessarily mean it's like, oh, why wouldn't Gabe Akis get it? Well, because he's going to be seeing double teams, man. Yep. And sometimes it's like, oh, well, maybe he only had 8 sacks, but Daniel Brown had 9. Like, you can still have a big year.
All right. What do you got for rusher and receiver?
So for rusher, you had Aiden Laughley, right?
Yes.
Man, I'll go Khalil Valentine.
Oh,
yeah, I think Fagan could be the. Here's the thing. I just don't trust Fagan's going to play the whole year. I'm gonna be honest. I would love him to, but he hasn't done it yet. And I think Khalil Valentine's going to be more explosive. Khalil Valentine's going to have some big explosive games and breakout games. And I think Laughley and Fagan splitting some time there could open things up for Valentine. But I think Laughley, I will be honest, though, Laughley's the obvious choice. So I'm not taking what you said.
Right. I think people would think Fagan is the obvious choice, and you and I are in the same boat. I don't think that's his injury history is just too much and too recent.
Yep. And then you said who was your receiver, Beatty?
Durst.
Okay. I'll say your leading receiver. Man, you know what?
Come in. I said Durst. What the hell was I thinking?
Yeah, I was about to say, you said Durst. Durst is going to be our leading receiver.
Durst bicycle. What was that? That was Nathan Durst. I just had a total brain rewiring. So
I'm going to go on out here and say I think I'll say Hudson Clement by the season's end.
No.
Yep. Okay, so you guys all feel free to post your comments on. If you haven't done it in here, feel free to subscribe on YouTube and let us know on YouTube. Give us your thoughts. What is Illinois' season win total going to be? Who's their leading receiver, rusher, sack, interception? Who's that going to be? Man, let's see. What are you going to be doing in 11 days from now? I know what I'm going to be doing. Dixon and Laughley. Anyway, Swami out.
ILL.
I. Marching